Hey, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? Okay, let's go over a Hikaru Nakamura game versus Vishy Anand. Okay, Hikaru is black and Vishy is white. Hey, how you doing? Okay, all right. D4, D6. I'm sorry, E4, D6, D4, and then G6. This is kind of the perk, and it's from the Grand Chess Tour. So Paris Grand Chess Tour. This is a game that Nakamura played in. So he won, and I wanted to go over it again. It was pretty well played. I liked it. Knight of 3, Knight of 6, Bishop E2 with the threat of threat of castling, and also you never know. Potentially, the bishop may come out and trade off black's good bishop, and this is kind of on a good diagonal at the moment. It's kind of a flexible move. Castles, castles. Knight C6 and D5. Very concrete of an idea if you want to think about it. It's you're kind of saying to your opponent, where do you want to put your knight? Do you want to put your knight here or here? Which point? You may even place it back there, but it's that this is an interesting. These have no points. These ones here, these are not as good as B8, knight B8. Knight E5 allows for the knight to take the knight, and knight to B4 allows pawn A3, and then the knight would have to come back to A6 and eventually go back to B8 anyways. So why not just retreat back? And now you provoked a weakness in white structure right here, right there. So here, here, and then in there, potentially. But actually, more likely here, here, either there or there. These 2 points are optimum play. You don't want to go here. You don't want to go to this one. This one, no. Not at the moment, because the knight guards it. These 2 points are really good because this point right here attacks potentially these 2 areas, and this point here attacks there as well. So you want to get your knight from here to either one of these 2 points. Just remember that. C6 also, potentially if he takes, which C6 is an idea too. So, and if takes there, then the knight will take back, and it'll be on its optimum square. But white doesn't actually have to take. White can just say move his rook like Anon did, and then I'm sorry, Anna pushed H6 3. Sorry, B6. Now Nakamura can actually play B7, bishop B7, with a potential takes. And if takes, then you have knight. So bishop F4, bishop B7, like we were talking about, queen D2, and now we're going to play knight BD7 to see if we can't input a knight there, or potentially move a rook, and maybe if we have to bring a knight there for defense. You never know. Very prophylactic move here on D7. A6. This is kind of a wall of pawns, you have the ability to push c5, c5, b5, or in some circumstances a5. You never know. B takes, bishop takes. Now this point on c5 is free for the knight to jump into. And now it has two protectorates to protect the knight here, so not just one, two. e5, boom. You gotta love this. I love this move here. This is putting the question, and it's saying if you play here, if you play here, I'm gonna play there. And you know what? And then I can also at the right moment even move my queen to either c7 or potentially e8 with a thrust to e6. You know, for an attack maybe. h6 to trade off. This was kind of a little bit too hyper in my opinion. I liked the e5 move, but it was kind of a little too ahead in my opinion, because now the protectorate of the black king is going to fall. So Anna takes the frontal attack of wanting to trade off the g7 pawn, not pawn, bishop. Knight c5. He takes, king takes. Now these points are weak. The h6 and f6 are weak because there's no bishop guarding it. Once this queen moves, the bishop, a knight potentially could come in. But at this moment, it'd be pretty darn tootin' hard, because if the knight went in there, you can always just snap that off. b5 before it was played, knight takes, and so now we've come down to two knights versus a bishop and a knight. And of course, all the Vichy fans out there know that Vichy loves, Anon loves to play with knights. He'll even trade a rook for a knight because he loves playing with the knights. So the commentators, Yasser and Alejandro and Maurice, were like really excited when this happened, because they were like, Anon's gonna dance around with his two knights. So queen to e8, queen e8, rook e8, sorry, d4, bishop comes back, because we don't want to take and allow. If we take here, that either allows that or this or allows there to happen. Yeah, I have a lot of favorites. I like a bunch of different players. I like Garry Kasparov. I like Fabi, Wesley, Nakamura. It depends on you know, at the moment what type of style I'm studying. Because if you want more positional, you'd go for Kramnik. If you want more attacking, also positional would be Karpov. And if you want more attacking, you have your Nakamura, your Garry Kasparov. Fabi's basic. Magnus is more balanced as well. So Fabi and Magnus are balanced players. So it depends. And Wesley, I like Wesley's style too. He's got a really smooth style. Not that the other ones aren't smooth. It's just I just can follow his sometimes better. I like Nakamura's because his is more of a pattern play. Wesley's is a lot easier to follow sometimes. So is Naka's, but you know, it's all what you prefer. If you're a positional player, attacker, or a defender, there's different players for everyone. So d5 for white. And now this locked the center down. So if you Vishy then can now dance his knights potentially that way. Maybe even, let me see, how can we do this? Maybe trying to find out if I can get a point, if I can get a knight there. Let's see how many that would take. Let me see. If I play here, that'd take 4 moves to get there. At this moment, there's really no points of entry because this is covered. No really good spots for the knight, but this allows for the knights to have some play because they love closed positions. So rook c8, Nakamura is dominating the open c file at this moment. Queen to e3. Going after the b6 pawn, kind of putting a tickle to it. And if maybe thinking about playing maybe a5 to lock down the position even more, so that Naka would have to play a5 or b5, because you really don't want to open this up. This is not something you want to really at this moment, because the two, well, I guess you could if you want to think about it. You could open this up, but you have to do it at the right moment because you don't have 2 bishops anymore. You got to make sure that your pieces are optimally placed before you do that. If you had 2 bishops versus 2 knights, yes, I would say for surely just totally tear the center open, but it's a little, you have to be very cautious, like what Nakamura did here, rook c4. Beautiful move. I really like that. That takes advantage of these pawns here. That forces b5, because if he doesn't play, he could, I guess, play rook eb1, but if he does rook eb1, both of white's rooks are passive, and so you can even have queen to c7 at that point with e to c, the rook on e to c8 after that, and then you have a triple battery. So b5 is actually forced. c7 still playable because this is weak. Even if he takes here, even if he takes on a6, I'll show you. You can just take back, and this is under fire. So the rook's gonna have to come over R. You're gonna have to maneuver a knight, one of these two things, because you can't allow this to persist. And maybe at this point Nakamura could play rook c8 and just say to Anon, you have 2 knights, but my bishop's good now. My rooks dominate the open c file, and I could even maybe later on just play queen c5 and trade off, get my other rook on c8 to c5, and say I now control the majority of the position. So, but he decided to Anon decided to play a to c1 to protect his knight. He didn't want to see any of the he didn't want to activate the light square bishop. So Nakamura just said, you know what? You defend it twice, I attack it 3 times. Let's go for it. So Vishy's like, I guess at this point I'm gonna have to take, because if I really don't have any move to play, I can't move my knight, because if I did, I'm gonna lose a rook. So his pieces are now, this knight is locked down. Now you see why back here, but rather than a to c1, maybe knight to maybe takes, bishop takes, and knight c2 might have been a better idea. Nakamura is going to dominate the, even if he plays here. Now you have this because you have a knight guarding it, a queen guarding it, and a rook guarding it, so you can challenge the open file. But now Vishy's in a mega time problem. He's in a pin. It takes and bishop takes. Nakamura now has all the play in the world. It's all Nakamura. If the knight moves, bishop takes, and if rook takes, queen takes, and pawn takes, maybe that's yeah, exactly. Knight a2 is also a possible play. You could do that too, but he does lose the pawn, so because this knight that was on c3, I guess it had to move because it would have eventually had the same problem. But boy, this is a little bit interesting here. Rook takes, queen takes, takes. If queen takes, rook takes, in between takes. Yeah, I guess Nakamura would be up a whole exchange at that point. So kind of there. Rook takes, takes, knight takes pawn, d takes, queen takes, knight. Oh, sweet. So he's up a whole piece in that line. Check though. King g8. It's so sweet how Nakamura's pieces all are like just so wonderfully placed, because this bishop guards the rook. This pawn blocks the queen from attacking our bishop. And this queen potentially has the ability of taking a4 and protecting the bishop. All of Nakamura's pieces are working so in sync. Queen d4, and then queen c5, queen d4, queen c4, and it's like trade off, or let's go into an endgame where I am better. So it takes, d6, queen b5. This pawn is going to be stopped. b7 and rook f8. Now there's no way that this is gonna end up queening. So rook c1, bishop d7, and there's it's getting pretty desperate here for Anon. And then now with c7 is played, bishop attacks the queen, and let me see what yeah, at this point if the queen retreats, we have rook to d8, and if it takes there, we now can actually potentially play pawn takes there. So he can't play g3. If he tries there, we now have a potential queen with a battery. And also that allows for the infiltration later on if must be. You can also just take right away too, which probably would be a better and probably queen back would be the best at that point. And then if king here, smack, it's all over. If rook takes, queen takes, and there's no way to emphasize this pin. You can just move it, it's done. Well, now we're going to do one more game, and then we'll go into our London studies. Okay, dokie. Nakamura's white. He's facing. Oh, 1 second, I have to get a drink water. Much better, much better. Okay. He's facing Vladimir Kramnik. So, knight f3, knight f6, b3, d4, d5, bishop b2. This is kind of when Nakamura does like blitz and stuff. He does this. He kind of does the side fianchetto. He plays a little bit of hyper modern in his blitz because it gets you more developed, and it also you're putting the seconds right back onto your opponent. e6, g3, bishop e, and then g2. This is an original Nakamura setup here with these two bishops like this. Castles, castles, and then c5. Vlad, what Nakamura is saying to Vlad is, if you can have the center for right now, but at the right moment, I'm going to crack at the center with d4 and say, oh, you wanna block? I'm gonna go c4 and let's get this party started. And it's gonna be a mega attack in the center. So d4, knight c6, e4. So white has taken a stake in the center with this formation here, and potentially if takes here, Nakamura can actually take with the knight, and if knight takes, you can play bishop takes d4. I don't know. It would have been interesting, to say the least. It would have been a clash of the titans, because you have Anon, and then you have Kramnik, who was a student of Garry Kasparov. So potentially it'd be who had studied the most, because they're really great. They're really great players. So in my opinion, I think they're equal in their play strength, and so I think, I don't know. Maybe maybe Anon would have won. I have no idea. But I do know one thing, that when Magnus played, it was a whole different style. He's a whole different generation of play. Like Vladimir Kramnik is more positional. Magnus is more balanced, and so you don't know if he's going to shift to attacking. You don't know if he's going to shift to positional. He's strong in both areas. He's very versatile. And I think that might have been what threw Anon off. But Anon's still an excellent player. I still, you know what, his games are really great. So I think, if to answer that question, I really don't know. But it would have been fun, though. It would have been fun to have watched that, though. That would have been fun. It's fun to watch the other ones too as well. But I mean, that would have been interesting to have seen that. I always wondered the same, the question you're asking, what would have actually happened if, rather than Magnus, if Vlad would have drew and he would have faced Anon, what would have happened? Boy, I guess it would kind of be like a Rocky versus Apollo kind of thing. It would have been fun. That would have been fun to have seen. Rook e8. Okay. So now back to what we were into. This the hyper modern. This is kind of what I was talking about, with that you fianchetto your bishops, early, get castled, and you stake a claim usually on the fourth rank, the fourth rank with your pawns. Something similar to this. This is more optimum for actually black. I mean for white. How Nakamura has his structure is really strong, because if he takes there, he can take here, and if bishop takes, pawn takes. It's going to be interesting. Probably more takes, pawn takes than takes. I don't know if I like. Let me see, because knight d2. Okay, this is the best move. I like this move here. This covers all the lines. Now everything's protected. So if c takes, which it does, c takes d5, which is the best, and in my opinion, I think that is. I like this move here. And then if bishop takes, then you would take back with the knight, and you might be able to shred. I don't know if you'd want to shred the position open. Maybe bishop takes at this point would be better. Knight takes, queen takes, pawn takes. Then something maybe like c5, knight e5, and with kind of playing around more space in the center. It all depends. So knight takes. He eliminates one of the defenders of d4, so that when rook takes, bishop takes back. Now he has an outposted bishop, so you have to kind of weigh in what's best. Do you want? Are you okay with? Actually, you can't take. I'm sorry, I missed this. That would have been a tragedy. I would have lost a rook. So kind of this is forced now. Rook c7, queen e2. Wow. Well, I guess if pawn takes now, knight would take. And if bishop takes, yeah, pawn takes. Boy, very intense position before. Wow. Rook f8. That's not bad. This moving the rook off is not a bad move. Queen e7, a3. Nice move. That's a really nice move. Now you're getting the bishop kicked out. So takes, and queen takes. Now the queen's off this, but you have to remember that potentially white will maybe win a pawn here. Maybe black will win a pawn, sorry. Because if he takes, you do have rook, but you got to be careful now, because and is white trapped? Sometimes I do, yeah. I usually do. I have some games that I went over, and I have some of the games that I downloaded to. I haven't recently downloaded some. I'm gonna have to catch up on my downloads. Let's see, that this is an interesting setup. I kind of bishop e5. Oh, that was a mistake. Ooh. Yeah, that was a big time problem. And you lose a piece at this moment. Ooh, no, that's not good. And so the rook would have to come over. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this would be a little intense for sure. I'd love to play here, but he has there, so. But yeah, this move here is what sunk the boat. C3 is actually best play. Queen C2 and takes. You have to be okay with it's end up becoming it's slightly better for white in my opinion, maybe almost equal here. But the one thing that Nakamura has that Vladimir Kramnik doesn't have is two bishops. So with this type of superior power and the queen, and Naka is really a strong. He doesn't give up. He'll even play like 50 moves. He'll just keep playing and playing and playing and then grind you down. I think he would win this, even in this setup. I think he would win. And basically at this point, you'd have to play rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, queen takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and then you would have to do a check. You'd have to come up, and maybe something similar, something like that, with a push. Get this pawn going up the board, because you're attacking there. And if he trades, maybe you're better off if he actually does trade. Takes, and then you have a better structure, so you can actually get your king involved. I don't know if this might be drawish. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's more. So. So over here and out. Okay. Okay, we'll go over the London system. I put in the analysis ahead of time, so then we don't have to go up and down on the screen. We can just look at the London system and we could talk about it. Okay, this is actually the London system versus the Slav. So this is kind of the setup for what's going to be going on here. This is the Slav defense, more of a Slav kind of attack. And at this point, let me see here. Oh, you had a game, okay. Fabi Grinch, okay. We'll take a look. We'll go back. We'll start back here again then. Okay, because the writer of the Play the London system says he doesn't like playing against the French in the London or the. Let me see. Let me just 1 sec read what he says here. Oh, the French. He doesn't like playing against the French or the Exchange Slav with the London setup. Oh, from the Grand Tour. Okay. Oops, gotta turn this off. Which was Fabi white or Khrushchev white? Oh, he's black. Okay. So takes. Wow, he did the exchange. Oh, because John, I believe it's national master John Watson says that as well, that when they do this and block the bishop off from coming back to guard the b7 pawn, you can move your queen to b3 and then take scope on b7, because the bishop can't come back to guard it. It's kind of on this side now. So he retreats back, takes, h takes. So now we got we have some play on the H file. Queen D6, bishop takes. You gotta always be a little concerned though, because you may lose you're not going to be able to hold that pawn on because the rook can go to b8, b6. Interesting. I think maybe this is what Fabi saw here. Yeah, this is huge. Yeah. And this actually wins on the spot. Sweet. That's kind of why you can't take. Knight takes, A takes. And I believe potentially still this move has the same type of as they say, venom of an attack. Because even if you try to retreat back, you play queen to let me see, not queen, sorry. Boom. Let me see, how can we actually trap that that rook? Maybe I overextended a little bit. I think I might have overextended slightly there. Probably queen there, but then yes, you can't play rook there, so. And well, on this line you can move because it. Oh, true. That's right. Smack. Yep. Yep. So I didn't overextend. Hurrah! I did. I did good. Yeah. Wow. That was a tactic. That was a sweet tactic. See, e5, bishop e2. Tells you even the supers play the London system, so it's not just a you know, a boring opening, as some would say. It's grandmasters use it. Yeah. Takes. Interesting, to say the least. Three takes. You can't take here because of whoop. See you later. You just lost. You're down and you're going down. First of all, you take, smack, like, and then now you're up a whole piece in that line. Boom. Actually, well, maybe here, and then if he takes there, now you're threatening that, so he'd have to come back. Yeah. Remember, there's reasons why they don't play certain moves. Now the knight's under fire, and potentially, if we take there, there, and there. After e takes d4, then knight takes d4, knight takes d4, e takes d4, queen. Bishop F3, king maybe there, and then castles. I don't know. I think everything's solid. It'd be nice to do that, but let's see, what does he actually have here? He could take there and then potentially drop a knight in. So maybe that. I like this move here. That's really strong. I like these doubled rooks. I like this. I like that move too. That's kind of like, now you're ready to play a knight to e5, or potentially, or you can just win this pawn here too. So with a queen move and then knight, there's a lot to play in that. Sweet, that's good too. I like that. It's too bad the queen wasn't here. It's too bad the queen, like, if the queen moved here, this would be a sweet tactic. That'd be a sweet tactic, but the queen guards the knight. The pawn takes. Wow. Nice play by Fabi, I like that. Knight g4, bishop, and I think he's kind of collapsing here, around here a little bit. So maybe this is no, I can't play there. Well, no, I guess he could play there, because if you take, then the knight would take back. I'll turn on the engine. Somewhere Fabi went awry. So the queen was right. Sweet. That's cool. I'm glad about that. Oh, nice. So maybe we gotta draw. Trying to see, is there anything that Where Fabi somewhere. Okay, he did that right. Played there. Got a little too greedy on the pawn take. Got a little too greedy. Kinda, I like that move a little bit better as well. But if takes, you take, and if queen takes, then now you can at least you can retreat back there and you have a better chance of surviving. Well, they only had like 5 minutes, so he got a little too takey on the pieces. That was a good game. Sad that Fabi went down, but you know what? You're not going to win them all. Okay, this is the Slav, so we'll get back into our London study. It says it's the Madison attack, but Mason, not Madison, Mason. You want to look at? I want to look at the line. Okay, let's see. I look at the line. The knockout blow. Okay, let's see. I want to see knockout blow. Let me see here. Oh, after. Oh, I gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Let me get to that point. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, A5. After Queen E1. Okay, let's see. Queen E1. Sorry. Queen E1? Queen E1. Where's Queen E1? Where did I miss that at? Oh, Queen C1. Gotcha. Queen C1. Let's see here. Queen. I'm trying to find Queen C1. Queen C. What move's that? The last move, but I don't see Queen C1. Hold on, let me pull this. Let me pull up your thing again. Maybe I'm missing something here. Hold on, let me pull up let me pull the move the board up again. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. There it is. Okay, Queen C1. Okay. Check. Okay, what move was that on? Let me see. That was on move 36. So let me get to 36. There we go. Okay. Sweet. Alright. So you want to see? Okay. I think this was wrong move here, though. The queen move was wrong. I think it has to be this queen g5 doesn't work. Probably rook h2 is also a knockout. Let's see there. What am I missing here? Maybe check. Yeah. not this line there. Boom. We have to play rook h2. Oops, sorry. Hold on. Let's promote. This is the proper one. We're going to promote that to the main line. I had to get the right one to the main line. Yeah, this. Then he intercepts there, and oh, g5 actually isn't mate because the rook could take. The mate actually arises with you have to play pawn g5 first, and then he's forced, because if he moves back here, it's checkmate. So he has to take. He just delays mate too. Yeah, that's mate now. You're fine. It's okay. I always look at does the check, could a check actually be captured? That's kind of my policy now. Is if I check this, what would happen? And so, but you have actually a mate, a quicker mate if you wanted to. You just, oops, sorry. Here, you have this mate as well too. So let's see here. I think you even have a potential mate there. So you have, if he plays here, it depends what you want, that mate or do you want that mate. I'm not sure if we don't have another mate here somewhere. We may even have a check. Can't move there, so he has to intercept here. That's mate as well. I only see four mates or three mates. I see this mate here, here, and there. That mate as well. This one just extends it out a little further. See, if he goes f5, you have that mate. That's mate 1, mate 1. And then you come here and do mate 2 if you want to be ruthless, but just go for the mate 1s. But there's like so many different mates. Let me see, is there anything else that we could do? With that mate. Yeah, there's four. All I see is four mates. Four checkmates. I don't really see anything else. So if he goes h5, you have mate and mate, and then if you also have after h5 check check and then mate. So it's sweet. You have like four different mates. That's kind of why Fabi resigned. He didn't want to see this. This would not have been a fun thing to gone through, having four different mates to be put at the board. No, not fun at all. But you know what? It's all about learning. That's the whole thing. So we have to keep that in mind. Okay, we'll get back to our London Slav. If you play the London incorrectly, you get to see how it kind of gets crunched. But if you play it right, you could actually get a lot of good wins. So you can't judge, as they say, a book by its cover. So f5. Okay, sorry, that's here. f5 here. In general, he doesn't like playing against a Slav because then you can at the right point play e6 and have a kind of Slav setup with that. That's dubious. He doesn't mind playing against the takes because he loves when they take, because he'll take back with the queen. And he says that there's a move that potentially would drop would look like it would drop a piece, but not really, because you go c5, and now you lock down. In some lines, the London you actually play. Yeah. Yeah, this in some lines in the London you play on the queen side when, and like if he does the King's Indian, you can play on the queen side. Gary did that, and a lot of the grandmasters did. So that, and he plays knight d7, f6, and then h3. This prepares if h5 is going to be played. It's actually exclaimed. c5 was exclaimed too, because h5 is silly now. You just retreat your bishop back to h2. Knight e5, e4, bishop d3. If he leaves it there without c5, you're going to pick up a pawn. So like if he does some silly move, let's just say, oh, I'm going to try to castle bishop c7, you can go, your bishop can go wham, takes, and then queen takes, and you've gotten a pawn. Yes, he still can castle, but you're still up a pawn, and if you play into an endgame, you're going to win, usually. So f5 has to be played here to cement the structure. Queen c2, and then bishop e7. And with that, that's how white plays against the Stonewall Dutch. This is more of a Stonewall Dutch setup for black. He actually has, if white can dominate the e5 pawn, e5 square, and stop black from dominating the e4 square, you're winning in the Dutch defense, Dutch Stonewall. But rather than that, he took, because if he had enough, he took, then bishop e5, which kind of is a little too optimistic. It's just way too optimistic. e5, check, king d1. You're actually safe on d1. There's no light square bishop anymore to check you. And if the queen ever went to a3, a4, of course you guys see that b3 just cements everything, and it's like, you know, the queen's like, why is the queen on a4 now? a5, king d1, knight d7, bishop g3, and c5. It looks deadly for black against white, but it's really not. You just develop. And if he ever takes, you just take back with your knight. So you're fine. Knight g6, and then a3, which this has the idea, if he takes here, to go b4. So if he took, which he didn't, but if he did take c takes d4, you can go b4 right away. Attack the queen, and then you take back, and you have so much power with that attack. So he plays c takes d. This is, if he played rook b8, he loses. This is a combination here. Takes, queen takes, bishop takes, and then rook a2, and let me see here. This leaves black a pawn down with no compensation at all, because if he takes on c4, you can play rook takes b7, attacking the bishop, and then you also can then come back and grab the c4 pawn. So it's like attack. That's why he just took instead of going down that complicated line. Okay, let's see here. Oops, I gotta move my mouse. We'll put it over there so it's off the thing. Let me see. Where are we at? 10. Okay. Okay. He played bishop to e7. There's a mistake if he plays knight takes, bishop takes, e7, rook e1, and then queen and d8 and queen d3. Now you got to ask yourself, if you're black, who's now attacking who? Are you attacking? Is black attacking me, or am I attacking black? Because he can't castle. If he does, this bishop drops. And now the queen's centralized. So the queen could potentially slide over to e3 and then do a battery. You also have bishop d6, which it allows for the winning of the bishop. And you even maybe have some sort of rook moves. Not rook, knight moves. Maybe. Okay, so e takes. That's why he plays that instead of c takes d4. That would be a mistake. Yes, it isolates the pawn, but you can then play around that pawn as white and crunch black. c5 with an exclam mark. This now, where our next idea is after bishop d2, because we can actually win a pawn here. If he doesn't play f5, we win a pawn. And then we play b4, and now the queen has to kind of run away. She only has one square to go to, which is d8. And there's also a losing move here. If he plays c takes, the king moves. You know what? You take back. Now there's no points of exit for the knight to go to. The most the knight can win is a pawn on a3, and then you take a on a3. Now you see the power of why back here c4 was a good move. I mean c5. Now you see why c5 was a good move. It allows on move 16 or move 17 to win the knight. Otherwise, if the pawn was still on c4 and not c5, this bishop would be protecting a3 and allow the knight to come out. But now the bishop isn't able to protect the knight on a3, and this knight's going to fall. Queen b3 with an exclam, because now you're attacking the weak point d3, and then you'd be attacking f5, and this knight would fall. f4 to attack the bishop. Pawn takes f4, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? This is actually on move 16. He falls right for it after bishop takes. This is actually a mistake. c2, rook takes, and then boom, queen to c5. Now we're getting ready for an attack. He can't castle. And now we're the one with full attack development. Yes, we're down in exchange. He plays knight f6. If he plays knight f2, let me see. Let me see, where are we at? Knight f2. Bishop b5. That pins the knight. It comes in. g5. Now you're threatening to go e5 with an attack on the queen, or potentially just bringing the rook to e1. I think rook e1 is probably best. This also threatens here, and with a checkmate. This is actually checkmate on f7. So the bishop has to takes. So knight, and then rook check, king. Bishop g6, f7, queen e6, check, king g3, and then there's no way to stop mate. Whatever black plays, mate's going to follow. Because the mate would be on mate in like 2, because he has that there. But then what you have is queen. He'll go to king to h5 after the check if it was white to move. Bishop d3, check, king h5, and then queen h3 would be mate. So that's why he didn't even go down that line. He's like, no, siree, I'm not going down that. I know the poison at the end. I know the pit at the end of the trail. What would happen? So check, king f8. They're saying potentially if that takes d, c, and then queen checks, and you're gonna drop a piece here. It's an interesting move, but it drops the piece a little too hard. Why do that? Just solidify and play takes, because you're winning. Rook takes and then takes. You're down. Yes, you're down in exchange, but you have two healthy pawns in the center, and your two healthy pawns, a monster center on the queen side, pawn majority, active pieces, and a lead in development. So white's actually really good. He's got this the d5 pawn going up the board, and a hint that's going to matter later on in the game. Let's just say d5, bishop g, h5. This is a good move. A mistake would be to actually have checked king d3 and knight takes, because then you have g1, rook g1, and where to put the knight. Every point of exit is well, I guess you could, yeah, even that, because there's two attackers on that, on h4. So that's kind of why h5, kind of trying to kick the bishop a little bit, give the bishop a little pain. Rook e1 to attack the bishop on e7. Okay, h4, bishop e6, e5, h5, h6 for black with the rook, kind of trying to activate and maybe defend a little bit if he can, and maybe even the g2 pawn. Bishop to c4, g6, and then rook e2. This is a very good, it's a brilliant move. It's a good move. It's not like a brilliant. It's a really strong move. It doesn't allow any counterplay for black. Black's pieces are all muddled up, and white's ready for the attack. He also can play rook to f2, king g. This looks scary, but it actually loses, because you're thinking, wait. This looks like it's losing. No, it's not losing, because the king, you're activating your king, and we're going towards an end game. Yes, he wins the rook, but the king just moves in. He comes with the bishop. The bishop takes. Your center pawns will matter with when your king gets that exchange. Actually, put the knight off to the side. And this is what matters: is our active pieces. We have enough activity with our king. It dominates this knight. e6, bishop c7. He played rook c8. There's a move if here e2, g5 is actually going to slam for black, d5, d6, and then knight d4 with play of either these 2 points, the e6 or e5, and that will help escort this pawn down the board, this pawn here. And there's really nothing. This bishop is so beautiful. It stops everything. So c5, knight f8. I mean rook f8, not knight. Rook f8, e5, and then this is very dubious. This actually is a really bad move. They're saying that this potentially would lead to also a win for white. because now he's got his center is becoming mobile, and it's actually winning here. So, but he played a dubious move. Bishop d6. If bishop would have taken, the knight would take, and we still would. Now the rook. Sorry, the rook's under fire. That's why. That's right. E takes d. Knight takes. Now we're attacking, and we're attacking the rook. So he cracked under the pressure. Where did you? What? Let me see. Bishop d6. Let me see here. Bishop. Which move was it on? After bishop d6 check. Let's hold on. Bishop d6. D6. I'll move 30. Gotcha. Okay. Bishop e7, right? Yeah, true. But remember, we want to keep this is our that is true. The knight is trapped, but we have to remember that we want to. The knight's trapped anyways. There's nowhere for the knight to go. The knight guards here, the king guards there, and the king guards there. We have to keep this pawn chain, and if we did that at this moment, he could actually take. And if we took, I guess you could do that. Yeah, that'd work, but it'd be a little bit harder to win this endgame now. Yeah, it works. It works. Because then if you check, you just move your king in. And if you try attacking, you just play up there. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It would work, but I think we'd lose a pawn there. I don't know if I think it'd be more of a draw at that point. So I'm not sure. I'll leave this line for you guys. This is the kind of line we went over. So I'll just I'll delete this out here, and we'll keep this move here. There we go. Yeah, it works. I think the reason he wanted to get the bishop. I think you're right. I think it's the bishop is more. Maybe it's just preference, but I think White wanted to keep his structure intact. That's just my opinion. And when the bishop took, the knight took back, and now he's got a huge connected pass pawn. This bishop dominates everything. So, and yes, he got the a pawn. He was going to get the a pawn eventually, anyways. But now we can get this pawn going up the board. So a2, and bishop takes. Now we've won a pawn, our pawn back. Bishop takes, and then c6, and c2, and he resigned here. Black resigned. White won here. This was the continuation he said that would happen if it was to be played. This is what would happen here. Takes, remove, and of course, what move you guys think? You guys think it's gonna queen, right? What move would White play here? I'm gonna let you guys take a guess. Not a guess, but a good move. What would White play here? It wins. I'll let you guys see the winning move. Does everybody agree with pawn c7? Does everybody agree? Let's see, is there, okay. Do you guys have any other moves that you guys would like to try? Okay, perfect. So we're in agreement. And by the way, you guys are correct. That is the winning move because it guards. Of course, you guys know it guards the queen square. Yep, exactly. Great job, guys. That's what White saw. That's why he was able to push and he was able to walk his king over. So then, if the queening ever happened here, the rook, if it took back, would be lost. That's the whole thing behind that. He walked the king from, you had to have seen all the way from this pawn marching down the board. You had to have been confident. You would have to be patient and not get nervous. You'd have to have been okay with walking the king, but you'd be like, wait a second, can I queen? I could just push up the board, push up the board. No, you gotta be patient. When he plays there, you just push, and now you're winning. Okay, great job, guys, on finding C7. That's full board vision. Excellent job. Because you have to have full board vision to have seen from here all the way to there, or from here and that all the way to there. So, and now we'll do some puzzles, and I'll leave the puzzles for you, and I'll be right back. It's puzzle time. Okay, we'll be right back. Let's see, bishop takes. Let's see. You want to get this puzzle? No, I don't coach. Yeah, I'll write the number down for you guys. 85145. That's the number of the puzzle if you wanted to look at it. Let's see here. Wow. Let's see here. If we played, I think you're right about that. If we played bishop takes f, that's the number of the puzzle if you're wanting to go over it. Bishop takes f. Let's see here. If queen takes, king e8, and then queen mate. If bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes, check. Queen takes, king e8, that's checkmate. If king there, I think that's mate there, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's gonna move. Yeah, you're right. I think this does. Is there any response to it? Trying to see, is there any response to this move here? Do we have anything? Does he have anything against us? No, I don't see anything. Yeah, I like that. We're forced to take. Yeah. Okay, then if queen takes here, but more likely he's going to take there. Okay, you just move your knight and you're safe. Okay, just wanted to see what would happen. Okay, let's go. Let's check that out. 1 second. Hold on. We'll check to see if there's a winning. If it's a winning end game. I think it is. The computer doesn't actually know what to do here. It wants, that's kind of weird, king a8. Okay, I gotcha. You wanted to check this line out. Okay. If right here, I see what you're saying. Bishop takes g. Oops. Bishop takes g. Hold on, let me see. What move? Is this the line? Let me see. Just give me a second. So bishop takes, g takes, takes. It's actually e1, not d1. Okay. So e1. Okay. Rook takes. Bishop takes. Pussy. Okay. Queen takes. I gotcha. Hold on. Let me get this. Let me get. Hold on. That's not right. That can't be right. So we got bishop. We have bishop takes. Pawn takes. Queen. If we queen takes f6. Oh, queen. Oh, I gotcha. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I think it'd be a draw. It'd be hard to draw, but it'd end up becoming a draw. Okay. Yeah, that's a draw. All right. So it would be a draw. That'd be a draw. All right. Let's see what we got here. Sweet. Let's do this thing. Not a problem. We're here to learn, that's for sure. That's what it's about. Use the mind the Lord's given us. Okay, let's see this here. Oh boy, so we have h2 to h4. Let me see here. If we potentially play rook to d2 or d7, c7, and then let's say he takes with one of the rooks. We'll just say he takes with this rook here. We have a check. He'll have to come over that way. We push. He'll have to come up. He might not. He might come that way. Let's hold on. Okay, let's see here. Takes. There. There. Yeah. Huh. It's really good for your yeah, it helps with kids' grades in their school. So it teaches them critical thinking. So I don't know what to tell you there. Maybe you can explain to the person that it has wonderful benefit. Oh, wait a second. I could just play. Oh, that was silly me. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know. That's gonna be hard. True. You know what? You have to always remember that there's, yeah. I like that idea. Just, you know what? Have a good time, with it. First, show him that how fun it is, and you're a friend, and then make sure that you guys can go over your games, and you can watch. There's a lot of chess things on Allied IC alliedchess.org that you can watch, like other people play. You could do that. You might even be able to join maybe a tournament on here if you want to. I wouldn't prescribe doing that because there's some really good players on here, but you can watch games by like going to watch, and then you can see there's whole categories that you can do. Hmm. I stick rook c7. I believe rook c7. I like rook c7. Yeah, it's good. It's just it's one of those things. True. I like that, Fox. Yep. Have a fun. It's all about fun. And what Yazzer would do is he would play, and if he would get to if his board, he'd play against his nephews and nieces, and when he got to like a winning position, he would ask them what move would be it, and then what he would do is he would actually turn the board and have and play the losing side of the board so that his nephews and niece could win. So if you, let's say he's a new player, and let's say you're really dominating him or her, whoever you're playing, we just say the player. What you can do is say, I'll take your side of the board, and you guys move around, and he plays on your side of the board that's winning. And then if you start winning, then you go to the losing side, and then you let the person that you're playing win. And if they see how fun it is to win, they might want to be more interested in chess, like something like that. That's how he did it with his nieces and nephews. Let's see here. Let's see. Should we take? I'm thinking d takes c4. That's good water. Sorry if I drink you guys here. Ugh. Sorry, I got really thirsty. Ugh. Okay, so what do you think, Fox? What do you think, guys? You think it's d takes c4? We win a knight for a pawn, and then when the pawn takes back, we can take back with the bishop and then guard this pawn. So if we take back here, he takes there, we take there, and then the bishop guards here and there. Yeah, we're gonna win material here. We might want to take with the rook. I'm thinking about maybe taking with the rook. No, I like taking with the. If we take with the pawn, pawn takes. Maybe bishop takes is let's see, pawn takes, bishop takes. If we take with the rook, he still takes there. Not sure. I think I'm voting. I really think that it's d takes c4. I really don't see any other line that could be. Then after pawn takes, bishop takes, and this is guarded, but we do block that. But I still think we're okay. I think we're fine. And you really don't want to trade off, yeah. So he takes d, rook takes e6. Well, you can always move, if you ever had to, you can always double up rooks too. Yeah, I think that's best. And then now we have to decide, what do we do? Do we take here, or do we play rook f1, f7? Do we play rook takes e7, or rook c7, rook 7 to, I think it's f7. I'm not sure. I think that's how you write it. Or maybe it's is it c7? It's something like this. I think that's how you write it. I might be writing it wrong. It might be like 7c. It's this move here. We lose his pawn though. I'm thinking maybe it's rook c f7. That's right. I wanted to make sure. I think it's rook c f7. I'm voting on that because I'm just concerned that we may lose this pawn here. But let's just calculate here. Okay, takes. Okay, so take. Well, maybe we don't here. After he takes, we move there. Hold on, let me see. We play. He plays rook e3. I'm sorry, rook e3. Well, we're gonna get this one right, and then I'm probably gonna end here. So rook takes, c7. B takes c, c4. So let's take a look here. So rook takes, there, here, here, there, there. I think we still win. I think you're right, but I think this is the line. Let's take a look. Let's try this. Rook takes e6. Rook takes e6. Check. King f7. Rook e3. c3. c3. Sorry, c3. Because we don't want to take. Because we have our rook's protected. Our rook protects this pawn. So if we take here, he takes back. There, he moves up. We push, and there's no way he can stop this without having to give up the rook. So let's say he moves back. We play, and he moves over. We just move our bishop there, and we just move in, and we win. What do you think? Let's give it a go. Oops, sorry. There. Boom. Well, okay. Let's go back, and I think the reason this doesn't work is I think it's just too passive. I don't think we have enough to stop his pass pawns. Yeah. I don't think taking it. Let me see. Hold on, sorry. That's it. Takes. Taking, I don't think is winning because I think he can just. First of all, he could take here. We move up, and then he can slide over and takes there. we're equal material in theory here. Actually, I think he's up material. No, we're equal material. No, yes, we're equal material because he's got 3 pawns for our piece. This would be a very difficult endgame to play. It says we're slightly better because we're 0.5. Yeah. Yeah, that's the issue. The actual taking, it's not there. It's actually that. And then when we move, he takes. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions? Any other questions on this puzzle before I log off? Sorry. There we go. Let's see here. Is everybody good? Do you have any questions about this here? Oh yeah, that is a pain. You know what, with pass pawns, but you have to always remember that, Emmanuel Asker said, you have to, if you see a move, look for a better one, and if the one that you're looking at right now, or the second one, isn't the best one, go with the first one. But you should always have a fallback plan. Just keep that in mind, fallback plan. And remember that keep studying chess. You'll get better. Like what we talked about with your friend. If you have friends that think that chess is boring, what you should do is play a game with them. And when you start winning, turn the board and you play the losing side. And then when you start winning on that side, turn the board and then allow them to win. And that will have them ask questions, maybe like how do you play this better, and then you can teach them and they'll get interested in chess. But if you beat them all the time, they're going to quit. So you have to remember that you have to promote that they win, and then it's fun, and then they'll start asking questions. That's what Yazzer does, so I wanted to pass it on to you guys. And remember that Hannibal Smith said, there's always a plan in the position, but remember, a plan is only good when you know what your opponent's going to do before they even do it, and then you predict it, and then that's a plan, he says. That's a plan. Keep moving forward, learn from your losses. That's the whole thing. As long as you learn, never a loss. And remember, during the time of becoming a diamond, we start out as coal, but when we're a diamond, we shine bright. So I'll leave you guys with this. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, I say God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening. And remember, if you want to log back on, you can always click follow. And I'm going to be on, Lord willing, tomorrow. We'll go over some games, some more studies, and we'll finish off with some puzzles. So log on if you guys want to. So be blessed, guys, and keep studying chess. Bye bye, guys. See you tomorrow.